Hey, what's going on? This is Master Barber Al from barbershopcashflow.com. Now, in my new course, I got like 15 or 16 chapters plus bonus videos, but I want you to check out chapter 6 right now. It gives a lot of information on basically how I started the branding process and got things rolling to actually get my shop up to over 100,000 in just over a year's time and doing very well in 2-year mark period of time. So go ahead and watch this, and I'll see you at the end of this video. All right, so we're back now in chapter 6. Hopefully all the other chapters so far are very insightful. So let's talk about this. Chapter 6 is barbershop launch strategy. So here's the chapter outline. First, I'm going to be talking about branding concept, how I came up with mine, how you can come up with yours, doing a few simple things, all right? The domain name for your actual barbershop, and if you need a website, most likely in the beginning you won't. It's optional if you want to get it as you progress, but we'll talk about it. Free haircuts for pictures. I'm going to talk about basically starting from scratch and giving out some free haircuts to get pictures for social media, all right? And then I'm going to be talking about social proof. That's a whole concept I want to talk about. Business cards and flyer distribution. Going to talk about how I got my flyers and business cards distributed for free, along with how I got them and how I put them together. Part 5 is going to be about social media, basically the power of Facebook and Instagram and how I use them to generate thousands of customers to my shop, literally. And then I'm going to be talking about Google My Business, which is Google, but the business part of it is called My Business. And I'm going to talk about how I utilize that to get thousands and thousands of photo views every month, all right? So without any delay, let's get into it. All right, the first thing I'm going to talk about is coming up with a branding concept, all right? Simple is the best way. A lot of times I look at a lot of guys' logos and also their shop themes, and they're all over the place with it, all right? So let me just talk about a simple name at first and how I came up with the name. First of all, there's a lot of shops, I guess maybe 7 or 8 shops in my area within a maybe 4-mile radius, right? And some of them have complex names, even to the point where I ask some customers that come in the shop, like, where did you go before? And sometimes they can't even remember the name. So the fact that I'm in the Poconos and we are a barbershop and I want a name that everybody could just say, you know, just easy off the tongue, it's easy to remember. If I told you about it, do I need to give you a card or something to remember, or could I say it to you and you could just remember? So that was the thinking of me coming up with the name for the shop, which was Pocono Barbers, all right? I'm in the Pocono area, which consists of a lot of towns and counties, but in general, it's all the Poconos, and then we're a barbershop. So Pocono Barbers was one of the simplest things I could think of. So I said, all right, you know, I'm not going to keep it real simple, you know, and also for the fact of it just being a company or me branding something that is bigger than me, because I'm not going to name the Al Shop, you know, or something, you know, really crazy that if something happened to me, it can't survive me and just be thriving and stuff like that. So I have all those things in mind. And then the fact with just using 2 words, all right, Poconos and Barbers. A lot of times you see a lot of big brands. I talk about this all the time. If it ain't 1 word that's simple, it's 2 words that's simple, like Best Buy or Subway, even though that's Subway, you know, I don't know if that's 2 words, sub, yeah, but, you know, that's a prefix for way, whatever. But Subway, what's another one? Just simple stuff that you would remember. Coca-Cola, Walmart, you know what I'm saying? So that's what came up in the concept of just keeping it very simple and without giving anybody any literature, anything. Could I be in the area and say the name and people remember it? So that's how I came up with the name, all right? Which is working after 2 years, is working extremely well. As far as my logo concept, you see the logo concept is very simple. You know, not all the time you have like a little, like what you want to call it, an icon or something in the picture, but right there's a blade and simple Pocono Barbers with a 2-color theme as far as the logo. But my logo theme colors are red, black, and white. You know what I'm saying? You want to keep it simple. If you want to try to have 2, but no more than 3. After that, it's overkill. You know what I'm saying? It's too much to the eye. It's too much. And these are proven concepts. So everything after I came up with the logo, actually I knew I was going to have the theme colors. The logo came up after. But everything in my designing process, from the shop and material and everything else, was all set with those colors, red, black, and white. You don't see no other colors in my promotions, all right? Now, I have this down here. If you need a designer, you know, there's places where you can go get a designer and get a logo made from anywhere from $5 on up to maybe $50, depending on who you get, you know, you hire. But basically, you know, there's Fiverr.com and there's Upwork.com, which is two sites that I pretty much frequent a lot to get my freelance workers, whether it be some extra coding work that I'm doing or something for a website or even designing. All right. Now, this particular logo, I designed this myself because I've, one of the skills that I sat around and learned over the years was Photoshop. So I do a lot of my designing. All right. But you don't have to be a designer. You could, leverage your time and get somebody else and spend $5, $10 on a nice logo that represents your theme. All right. And that was pretty much, my branding concept of what direction I was going to go with my colors, the name, and everything else, and push that out into the market. All right. To be rememberable. Because that's the whole key. Your branding is about branding it and instilling it into, your brand into the market. That's the whole concept of the branding thing. So I think I did that well. So you look at my videos, you look at my flyers and all my material, you see my logo on it. It's on the front of my site, my barbershop. And that's how that works. All right. So let's move on to part 2. All right. Now, domain name. All right. And no website. Let's talk about this. Now, my shop domain name is PoconoBarbers.com. Even before I registered my shop, even before I even had a lease for my shop, I came up with that name. But one of the things I needed to do was make sure it was available online, which is, is very important because you never know when you're going to have a website. And plus, not even without a website, just people, searching somewhere for you, you're not always going to give them the long tail name of your domain on social media or whatever. So Instagram might say Instagram/Pocono Barbers. Facebook might say Facebook/Pocono Barbers. But the reality is you want to be branding your own stuff. So you want to make sure you have a domain for your shop. So that's before I even signed the lease for my shop, I had my name. I made sure that the name was available. Pocono Barber without the S, and then also with the S. Okay. So I have both of those domains secured. Now, was my focus to get a website at first? Not for launch. All right. Maybe in the future when I want to start doing some different type of promos and doing some like retention programs, like where people sign up on my email list on the website, and then basically I might give them free haircuts after a certain amount of times of checking in and getting haircuts and stuff like that. But that's not needed in the beginning. Plus, that would kill the budget that I set. If you remember in the video, I told you I had a budget set, so that wasn't needed. So what I did was I just took PoconoBarbers.com and I forwarded it to Facebook. So it just forwards to my Facebook page, and I'm still out there branding the name, PoconoBarbers.com. So anybody that go to it, they'll land on my Facebook page and get more than enough information to make a decision if they're going to, do business with the shop or not, because of the photos and the videos and the different things that's on that page. All right. So that's pretty much as far as, the domain name. Do you need one? I believe that I believe everybody should have one, because again, .coms it's a brand in itself, but it's an extension of your brand to have a place where people could easily just type it in on the internet and find your site and get information, whether your site or where you're forwarding the domain to. Now, to forward a domain is very simple. Like right now, I register all my domains. I have probably about like 80 domains. I register all of them with GoDaddy.com, and inside of GoDaddy.com, you could just go forward it. It's a setting. You might go to DNS settings or whatever and press domain settings, and then you can just forward it to anywhere you want to forward that. All right, so that's pretty much that on that part. All right, so free haircuts in exchange for pictures. Now, this is part of my launch strategy, something that I knew that I was going to do once the time came for me to open up my doors. All right, now let's just talk about this. As far as what my thinking was, is that when you have something new, people have to see. They need proof, and that's usually what I call social proof. All right. So basically, I would go up to individuals, ask them if they wanted a free haircut, in exchange that I could use their picture on social media to help grow my shop. And sometimes I had to convince a little bit more, some people, and some was just like, sure, why not? And then others I had to be like, I've been in the barber game, years ago. I had 2 shops. I'm starting off again in the Poconos, and I want to, and blah, blah, blah. So some people, you could tell them, one thing, and a few others you might have to, say a little bit more. And actually some people will say no, but that shouldn't deter you from getting your strategy or what you're trying to do accomplished, which is have as many photos up as possible so people can actually view them and see your work and then come and spend money with you, basically. All right. So that's like the social proof factor. And what I did was I took the pictures of these guys that you see right here. Right. I took the pictures, and I was kind of rusty. When I look back at these pictures now, like, I'm a hard critic on myself as far as haircuts concerned. These are haircuts in styles that, I was jumping back in the game from not cutting basically for 15 years. and then getting back in it. So I was rusty, but you know, I'm all about it. So I'm ready to go and just learn and get my skills back where they were. So anyway, the beginning pictures I know for a fact were enough. All right, so you know, that's the benefit of just taking the pictures and having them out there so other people can see it, and then they'll do business with you. Now the whole $10 haircut thing, I'm gonna break that down in the price strategy and why I chose to start with $10, basically after doing all my research on the area and then creating basically what I call the wow factor. All right, get people to mess with me, get people talking, and I'll go into more detail in the next video with that one. All right, but that was pretty much at that, and that was pretty much the concept of me giving the free haircut so other people could see the work, and then I'll have enough content. All right, that's a key word that I need to use, content, because the content that you have, the more you have it, the more views you're going to get, the more convincing you're going to be to others to do business with you based on how many pictures you have. You should have thousands of pictures out there if possible. All right. Now my business cards. Now here's the deal with the business cards and my flyers. The first thing I put together was my business cards, and you can see if you was interested on my first business card, I didn't have what you call it. This is actually the second edition of my business card. Now that I'm looking at it, because I see that there's a cut that I have in the shop. But the very first business cards, I spent $35 to get 5,000 cards, right? But I had no pictures. Now, if you follow me and you check out the interviews, you see that my brother has a barbershop in Virginia, 13-chair barbershop. And I called him. I was like, yo, I need some pictures of some haircuts. So basically, that was my first thing on my first flyer, to put on there Master Barber Al, and there wasn't even my pictures. So that was the first thing, because I didn't have any. But that should, you know, not having none shouldn't stop you from making the moves you have to make. But I know the power of people seeing visuals, and that's why I put those on the card, okay? And then my second edition, I know this is my second edition card because the bottom part that says $10 haircuts, that's actually me in the shop, and I got a picture of somebody that I'm razoring. All right, so that's me, and then I got the cards or whatever. So that was the cost of the cards. Then when I progressed and started having my own pictures, you'll see my flyer over here to the right. That's now my own pictures of, you know, probably the first 2 months of me cutting hair before I put that flyer together. And that right there, yep, all of that's my pictures. Now, putting together the flyer, I talk about that, I believe, in another chapter, but there's some important stuff you want to have up here. The fact that I have, you see 10 pictures up there, that's social proof. So when you hand that to somebody, it lets people know, oh, okay, this barber, he's getting cuts, he's known, you know, people mess with him, basically. All right, so that's pretty much what that represents to me. And then I have the details on the actual flyer. If you look on the flyer, you see my logo is there. All right, you see my logo, you see me. I talk about that in my first course. You know, putting a picture of yourself on the flyer is important, because now that's you going out, and it represents you. When people walk into the shop, they'll immediately identify who you are with the name and the work that, you know, you got going out there. So that's pretty much a basic and simple concept, but a lot of people don't do it, but it is important. All right, so my promo strategies, I'll give you something that I did. One of the things that I would do when the shop, when I would come to the shop, I would put a sign on my door, because you got to remember, I'm the only barber starting there. I put a sign on the door, because I don't need to be sitting in there if there's nobody coming in. This is the thing I talk about. If nobody's walking in, you have to walk out, and basically walk out to promote your business. So what I would do is I took a little 8x10 sign that I printed out from my computer and put that I am available, just give me a call, I'm only 10 or 15 minutes away. So while I was away promoting, some people would come to the door and give me a call and like, I'm standing in your doorway, are you here? And I'm like, I'm 5 minutes away, I'll be right there. So it was a lot of that going on in the beginning. But what I would do once I had, you know, flyers and my cards and all that situated, basically I was walking, if you go down my block and to the left, Walmart is about not even a half a mile, not even half a mile, quarter mile. I'll go to Walmart, right? Because I'm walking because I want to be in contact with people. You know, I didn't drive because I want to see people on the street. My goal was to get to Walmart where everybody's at, and I would specifically make 10 contacts at Walmart. So basically, I would find people and introduce myself and say, hey, how you doing? My name is Al. I got a new barbershop. It's on Main Street. You can check it out. Here's my card. I'm doing $10 haircuts, you know, for you know, grand opening or whatever, and people be looking at me like, really? And a lot of those same people will come into the shop. Some people will come, and I had this thing where I would ask everybody, how did you hear about the shop? And sometimes I would ask people, and they'd be like, I heard about it from you. And I'd be looking at them like, oh, Walmart? Yeah, I've seen you at Walmart. I've seen you here, whatever. Then it's that type of situation that goes on. But you should be especially even if you're not in the shop and you're just taking this course because you want to build up your clientele, if the shop is empty, right? Tell the barbers, yo, I'm stepping out for 10, 15 minutes. If anybody come for me, give me a call or give them my number, whatever the case may be, and go out. Don't sit there and watch TV or play pool or play video games. Don't do any of that. You don't got time to waste hours. Go out there and get the people and make contacts, all right? And that's pretty much that. So that's how that worked as far as my business cards and distributions. Now, as far as I talk about as far as getting these out, there was a couple of kids that I gave free haircuts to do exactly what I said I just did. So I basically told them, look, if for 2 or 3 hours you can go out and you can give out these cards to everybody you see, when you come back, I'll give you a free haircut. And now what I would do to check on them, I would tell them to be in a specific spot. So when I go out and I check on them, I seen them at that specific spot doing exactly what I said, then I would just confirm. Now, I didn't do it all the time, but I did pop up. I had a guy named Dylan. I popped up on him. I told him across from my Walmart, there's like a Sally's. There's like a strip mall of like 10 stores. I said, I want you over there. When I went to go check on him, he wasn't there. I asked him where he was at. He told me he was by the college. So I didn't mess with him no more after that, because if you're not going to be where I'm at, where I can confirm where you're at, then I'm not going to mess with you. But the other kids that I had do it, they did it for me, handed out the cards, and pretty much basically, accomplished what I need to accomplish, and I gave them free haircuts for doing that, which that's a great value to them. All right, so let's move on. All right, social media, Facebook and Instagram. All right, I started with one. All right, so I getting on Facebook initially, and for the barbershop, because I got other businesses where I did certain things, but this was like for internet marketing and stuff. So the barbershop is a little different, but a little twist here and there. But you got to start with one. You know what I'm saying? So the reason for starting with one is so you can learn it, so you can master what you're doing on one platform. So Facebook was the one that I started on. All right. And what I started to do was, as I started to get pictures and they look pretty decent, here's what you got to know. I don't post every picture. I'm a hard critic on myself. So I might take 10 pictures, and out of the 10 pictures, only 2 is going to get posted, because if I see, a certain line, because, in different lights, a haircut could look one way, and then, on camera, it could look a totally different way. And if I ain't like it, I ain't post it. But I tried to be consistent by posting 2 to 4 times a week, all right, or even more if I could. And that's pretty much what I did on Facebook. And what I started to do was started to boost. So I had a promotion strategy where I would put the picture up, and then I would boost it. And Facebook is great because, $5 or $10, you can reach thousands of people for a little bit of money. And then what you start noticing is that you start getting followers. But more than the followers or the likes for the page, I'm interested in the views, because a lot of people I found that don't even like my page, because I would ask them, like I would have a promo go out or a picture go out or whatever, and I would ask them how they find me. They say on Facebook. I say, oh, so you like the page? They say, no, I didn't like the page, but I saw your promotions. So everybody just doesn't like the page, but they will see the promotions. So there are some strategies that I talk about. If you look at the top image here, I put together a 1-hour video course on what I did with Facebook and how it started generating lots of traffic. So that's actually free. If you ain't watched it already in the members area, you can watch that whole hour video. And I talk about the video editing tools that I used at that time and how I, just grew from Facebook. All right. Then I moved on to Instagram. And with Instagram, same thing. As I started to develop and started posting, I started seeing the feedback, and the followers start to grow up, start to get a little bit bigger. But more than the followers, I'm interested in the views, because everybody doesn't press the follow button, but when they see those pictures pop up, they will check out your page and come check you out. All right. So some things with Instagram is that I know a lot of barbers, when you post, don't forget to do this. You might post, and you might, popular hashtags for barbers is like barber life or barber love or barber respect and stuff like that. But what you need to do is tag a lot of the local stuff. Tag your city, your town. Tag a lot of local events that's going on, because the people in that area may not be looking for barber life, or may not be looking for, hashtag barber love, but they are typing in hashtag Poconos or hashtag whatever your area is and whatever the events are. Make sure you do that. If you got a local college, tag the local college, all right? Because some of the students might be looking at that particular hashtag and stumble across your information, all right? Always to upload quality pictures and videos, all right? Don't, if ask in the shop, ask people how you like this picture. If they got critiques, don't be afraid to get the critiques. Now, I didn't do that because I personally critique myself very hard, but some people, believe it or not, post anything and may not know. So I guess the better you get, you know, the more you do it, the better you get. All right. And I started also promoting and boosted on Instagram, and I get great results as a result of it. All right. So exactly what I did with Facebook is the same thing happening with Instagram, with, you know, slight tweaks here and there. All right. Go to my pages, Pocono Barbers, on Facebook or Instagram, and you can see the type of pictures and videos that I post up. Now, this last thing I want to say is that the app that I chose to use, I tried a lot of them, but Video Shop right here, you see the app right there? That's the one that I'm using in all my promos, all my commercials and everything, because to me it's just the most easiest one to use, and I use a lot of them. So that's the one that I use. You can download it. It used to be free, but it's not free no more. I think they have an annual charge of maybe like $20 a year. To me, it's worth it. Now, that's just what I use. You might know something better, but that's just what I use. All right, so good luck with that. Now, I'm going to talk about my Google. And I think this video is getting long, so I'm going to start a whole nother video to break down what I do. But I'm going to say that, you know, Google, we all know it's a powerful resource, but they have a business section now. And this is another reason why I also didn't choose to do a website right away, because of stuff like this. Because there was a time, look, I had dozens of websites, and if you know my history, you know that I'm an internet entrepreneur. So I made a lot of money on the internet. But there was a time when you would do SEO and you would try to rank the top 10. But now Google favors businesses in local markets. So as soon as you go and you search a term on Google, if it relates to businesses, you're going to get businesses pop up before you get web listings. All right. So again, I come up on top of those for a lot of searches that I'm going to basically show you in the next video. But here's the Google Insights. All right. This is actually a screenshot from my page. Now, this is insights from your business, for your business last month. It says you got 2,600 searches, all right, and that's up 1%. You can see it says up 1%. You got 51 directions, up 18%. That means that 51 people clicked the directions, you know, once the listing came up, to go to my site. Also, my number is listed on my page, so it says I got 146 calls, up 35% from last month. Okay, views, I'm not sure which views. It's probably the page views, but it says 3,100. Views, up 8%. The reason why I think that's the page views is because when you go down two more tabs here, two more things down, you see that it says 14,836 photo views. All right, so in the next video, I'm going to basically break down what I do, my strategy for Google, and it's extremely, extremely effective, because a lot of people will tell me, I just typed in barbershops near me and your stuff is all over, you got the most pictures and blah, blah, blah. So we're going to get into that in the next video. Hope you enjoyed this part. See you in part 2. All right, so you made it to the end, and that was basically 20 minutes from a 3-hour course that I just put together. But that's not all. Once you get into the member area, there's an additional 8 hours of bonuses that I put together previously. So that's 11 hours of material that you're going to get today once you invest in yourself. Now, I want you to think about it. In today's market, how much is a haircut, right? Anywhere from $10 to possibly $40 or more, and that's what customers invest in themselves. Well, right now, I'm asking you to do the same thing. Invest in yourself by go ahead and getting this course right now, and you won't regret it, because it's going to make you a better marketer, and it's going to allow you to either grow your clientele or grow a barbershop and use all of the information for either. It doesn't even matter. So basically, sign up right now. You can go to my website if you're not there already, but if you're there, just hit the sign up button, and basically I'm going to see you inside. It's a small investment for a lot more in return. All right. So I'm going to see you inside. Peace.